According to Socrates, true wisdom is knowing what you do not know. So, an essential part of knowing yourself must be recognizing the limits of your own wisdom and understanding, knowing what you do genuinely know and knowing what you have yet to learn. AVENIR 2023, a much-awaited event, will definitely play a major role in this regard, and it will guide the students to be global citizens and help them choose the right career path as they pursue higher education after they graduate from schools. We are honored to have an eminent person with us today. She is none other than Mrs. Salony Priya, Founder Director of Ummeed Counselling and Consulting Services, Kolkata. Having more than 24 years of experience, she is a pioneer in the field of counseling in the country, respected as a positive psychology proponent of humanistic wave in education sector. A master trainer, she was advisor to chairperson at Center for Cultural Research and Training CCRT, New Delhi, under Ministry of Culture from 2020 to 2022. Her passion is personality enhancement and competency development for managers and corporates, grooming young professionals and providing coaching to enhance their skills on job. She is very active and vibrant in conducting workshops and webinars. She has received many awards and titles, and some of them are Women Entrepreneurship Award from Rotary, Life Member for Indian Institute of Health Psychology, Life Member of Community Psychology Association, India. Mrs. Salony Priya has strongly advocated for evolving schools as learning organization. On behalf of Indian School Dasit and all present here, I request Mrs. Salony Priya to deliver the keynote address.
What a wonderful morning it has been. And are you ready? Children, now it's your time. All this, what has been done, the purpose is you. And I'm indeed delighted to be here as a navigator. And I'm sure I'm going to answer some questions and learn a few more things as I go back today. Are you ready? What are you ready about? Are you more ready or are you more afraid? Let's put our hands together for Indian School Darsit and all the children. What a beautiful program they had put in. And it really resonated. When you came up and you were a chef and a lawyer and you were a engineering and medical, these are careers or are they way of life? My question to everyone sitting here is, children, when you are talking about AVENIR and it's about future ready, You know, many a times I've asked this question to myself. The greatest challenge we as adults today have, whatever hats we wear, a consultant or a principal, a teacher or a counselor, we haven't seen the future for which we need to prepare you. And that's why it is not that we can prepare you. We can only open a few horizons. And we can definitely map that these are your opportunities. Are the career options today the same as they were when we were growing up in school? Teachers? They are so much more. More means better or more means more confusion? It's either, ma'am. And that is where career guidance is not about some courses. Career guidance is a lot about you. I am a pure science person till my class 12. And when we were in school, thanks that CBSE today offers psychology in class 11th and even in 10th. It was not the scenario 35 years back, children. Today I can tell you, I would have made a very, very ordinary, maybe lousy engineer. I made a far better psychologist. And things haven't changed much. Because, you know, so many years back I had to answer this question to my parents. You got good marks in physics and maths, so why do you want to leave it? My first question, which I want all of you today to answer to yourself, don't answer it to me. Do you really score well in a subject which you like? Or many a times you don't score well in a subject where your heart is. लेकिन आप जिसको पढ़ाते हैं उसको अच्छा नंबर मिल जाता है. How many of you agree with me? Raise your hands. Wow, now we are talking, right? And that is what I do, children. Dekho. A lot of my journey in the last 20-25 years, and it is very heartening that recently, in one of my forums, I had this gentleman coming up and he said, "Ma'am, do you recognize me?" And I smiled. I said, "No, sir. Where have we met?" He said, "Ma'am, you came to my school when I was in class 11th. I felt very young, you know, and I realized I've been around for very long. But you know what touched my heart was, he said, "Ma'am, you were the first one who told me I can still be an author and be a physics graduate. And ma'am, today I am both." He is a bestseller, he writes a lot of fiction, and he is starting up an AI-enabled app for children in absolutely villages to be able to get access to best possible physics education. Because for him, physics is his passion, not a subject. At your age, at age 14 or 15 or 16, children, it's very difficult to find a passion. You'll only find some interests. And whatever is interesting, right, generally doesn't lead to a career. Yes or no? What I enjoy doesn't lead to a career. Like for a woman like me, I always feel whatever you like to eat doesn't help you to reduce weight. Right? That's life. How many of you have decided a career? And I'm going to tell you that career. Your principals will not like me for that. How many of you want to be rich and famous? Look at them. That's the career we all want, right? And we want a magic formula. How do we become rich and famous, right? Can we clap for ourselves for being very honest? Good. Can we? Closer to my children. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Is there one career which makes you rich? Or you can be rich if you're good at anything. What is the model today? Tell me. Yes? Yeah, speak. Okay, can I rephrase it that if you're really good at something, money follows? Agree? Can there be one parameter for being rich? Or rich is very relative? Rich is very, very relative. How many of you have marked for yourself that if I get this kind of a money, I'm going to consider myself rich? Some of you have any number? Tomorrow when you come to the Career Expo, secretly write a number. And I am telling you, what are the kind of questions you should ask tomorrow? Each one of you is going to have a career, children. But career today is this. Our education system was this. And from there have been reforms globally, not only in India. But you are the privileged ones who are seeing an extremely, I would say, a country which gives you a lot of opportunities. It's a beautiful country. You have still the Indian traditions and the Indian value systems with you. And you are doing an Indian education board sitting in a para-European country. So you should have a much higher diaspora and a deeper insight into what exactly is required. Do you see yourself as people who will like to have a job, or are you people who will create jobs for others? And that is why knowledge, skills, competence, and certificate, they were not married to each other when we went to schools. Let me be very honest, right, Papri ma'am? You had a degree, you necessarily did not have a skill. And I'll give you a very personal example to understand. Since morning, you have seen a lot of people speaking here. Everybody has done English? Yes or no? English was a subject when we came to school. Then we realized it's a foreign language. Now we realize English is a very huge advantage, and it is only the Indians, the largest population in the world, children, who since KG have been taught a foreign language. We are the only country which has done that. What has it done? It has created a huge workforce across the globe. Go to any part of the world, you will see an Indian working there. And my India was an India of snake charmers and elephants and princes and maharajas. Your India is not an India of snake charmers. Your India is an India of technology, India of innovation, India of Chandrayaan. India where people look at you with respect, that they are Indians, they are very hardworking people. Yes or no? And when you go with this, you have to understand that your skills are the deciding factor. Everybody knows English. Ask any of your principal, they have seen people walking through their doors with double MA degrees, but they can't write one essay which is original in English language. They have a degree, but they don't have skill. Can I speak in English language, express my ideas, understand and respond to people without any piece of paper? And can I still do an effective presentation with my ideas if there's no electricity and I don't have a slideshow? That's skill. How many of you with 15 years of education in an English medium school have a communication skill? Good. The hands which are not raised is my question. You are studying. Are you studying English to write a précis, make a poster, pass an exam, and get a 95%? And you will not have the skill and ability to speak. And my personal experience to understand this is, that is why CBSE has been into reforms, NEP and NCF and Nipun Bharat. Trust me, children, I have learned so much in the last 3 years thanks to my engagement with government schools across the country. There's no dearth of talent in Indian students. But what we are lacking is, do we have a far-sighted vision? Or are we getting very funneled? What is skill? इसीलिए ये reforms हुए. Einstein ने इतने सालों पहले ये लिखा था, everybody is a genius. What it means is you have your unique talents. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, the assessment method is wrong. Today you have an open book exam thanks to CBSE. You have a project assignment, you have a viva. What have we done? We copy the project from the senior. We do cut, paste, copy. Are you really smart? You know, many of you, the moment you are going to put in your college applications, there are apps which they just do once. Everything will go into yellow, red and green. with resources from where you have copy pasted, and you will never hear from that university or college. Are you preparing yourself for that? And so many of you cut copy paste when you don't need to. You think writing some heavy words is going to impress somebody. It doesn't, children. What impresses is your uniqueness. How many of you can define that? And match it and map it. These are the two words which you should write. And write it here. Match it and map it with all the information and opportunities available. You'll be able to find a career. And the first thing is, what is your natural skill? All the co-curriculars, thanks to the fantastic schools you have, these co-curriculars are avenues for you to understand, what am I naturally good at? Aptitude is that. Many of you will do an assessment tomorrow. Dekho, assessments today, they are good. They definitely give you some kind of an evaluation beyond your mark sheets and exams. But they are not defining you. You are much more than that. And a lot of college applications, they are not based on aptitude, they are based on marks. So you have a dichotomy here. Tomorrow you will go through an assessment test which will give you very high mathematical aptitude. And you will laugh at it, but ma'am, I don't score well in maths. Both are possible and both are correct. Why you don't score well in maths is because you don't have the skills to apply. But you have a mind with logical reasoning. That's how human mind is. I score very high in mathematical intelligence. I can tell you today what is my career. Am I a psychologist? Am I a consultant? Am I an entrepreneur? Am I a philanthropist? I run a foundation for underprivileged children. I am all. But fundamentally, what am I? At age 53, I am very, very happy and satisfied, and I have energy to travel 22 days in a month because I love what I do and I believe in what I'm doing. That's career. Thank you. And that is why I was telling your very dear principal, sir, that sir, you have given me 45 minutes to talk about rest 45 years of our children. Our working career is 45 years, and gone are the days जब लोग नौकरी करते थे और वहीं से रिटायर होते थे. 5 साल भी अगर आप एक कंपनी में काम कर लीजिए, it's a big tick. You will start getting loyalty bonus from companies like TCS and GE. Attrition is very high, growth is sporadic, and curves are no longer. And that is why, dekhiye, these are all which you will have to keep working on. Competence, knowledge, learning, experience, ability, and growth. They are the components which keep building skills. Am I building a skill today? Yes. If I'm learning a foreign language, I'm building a skill. I've started learning. I have always been a follower of Gita, and I believe the greatest scripture of counseling is Gita. It was counseling by Lord Krishna to Arjun. When a very capable person with all IQ, all ability, all skills, just felt I can't do. That's counseling. Counseling enables you to be your best. And that is where it's a journey, children. This AVENIR opens an avenue for you, which is about a journey. And what I come with a message for each one of you is, remember, we started learning professions as people who help us. Remember KG? Nursery? And then how many of you had a dream? I will grow up and become this. My son wanted to become an engine driver. Yes. And I cannot tell you the amount of conviction he had. Mama, main bada hoke engine driver. I remember all that power which he used to feel. What is he today? He's an investment banker. He's a vice president in Goldman & Sachs. But what I can see is, what still gives him motivation is the power of numbers. That's his forte. Can you start defining that? And that is why, moving from childhood interest to dream careers, from dream world to reality. Don't think that dreams don't come true. If you have an ability to chase your dream and don't give up, dreams come into reality. But sometimes you will have to keep working on your dream. Don't give it up. And when you are defining your dream, make it a dream which is more realistic. Dreams should not be fantasies. And that's why I loved it when you came in here and you did the curtain raiser for what careers is. Look at it. Being a part of a job that gives you joy, you can work hard at age 50 and you still have 100 more things to do. My only motivation to now be very fit and maintain my weight is I want to keep working till I am 80 years of age. And people like Papri ma'am inspire me. Can we give her a big hand? A person who in India is symbolic of the success of Gulf schools. And I'm very fortunate to have known ma'am for so many years. And you know, that is what it is. When I grow up, I will. Now you have grown up. And very soon this bubble, this cocoon which has nurtured you, protected you, everybody knows you, is going to burst. And the person who you can't do without, the person with whom you sit next to every day, will become a Facebook icon in 2 months. The person will go to some other college, you'll go to some other country. Yes or no? It's not to be sad. That's where you will have to start working on children. And that is why they came. This was done by one of the students and I really liked it. Dedication, responsibility, education, attitude and motivation, if they are a part of a dream, dreams do come true. Dream is not fantasy. And that is why when I started Ummeed, you know, I never called it a mental health or counseling. Why I called it Ummeed is because ultimately the job of a psychologist is to give hope to people. Don't allow people to give up too early, too easily. And that is where AVENIR, which talks about being future ready, will you be community leaders? Will you stir up things? Will you be able to do something for which you would have immense satisfaction? Or do you just want to have a course, a scholarship, go to Glasgow or go to Canada or go to UK? Trust me, the world today knows Indian students and Indian families have a lot of money. They have money for 2 things. Big fat Indian wedding and the other is education. You know, there are foreign universities who run on Indian students. In US, the data recently is 1 Indian student pays for 17 American students in a normal Berkeley or a Stanford university. That's how you are seen today. So, you will be enticed by everybody. So, you better be very informed to make an informed choice. Because today, dozen or dime, I see students at age 23 and 27. They've come back with a foreign degree, good for nothing. Now not getting any jobs. Why did you do this course? That time, ma'am, I didn't think. Or I have people who are in a job and they hate it. So other day when this ITC guy came and took an appointment, so my own office colleagues, they were saying, ma'am, why has he come? Because just before that, around a month back, we had a seminar by Indian Chamber of Commerce and ITC was one of the sponsors. And this gentleman was there welcoming me. I said, I don't know, maybe he's planning an event, he has taken an appointment, let's see. He enters my room and what does he say? He says, ma'am, I've been thinking about it for many days and many months. Finally, that day listening to you, I thought maybe you are one person who will understand, so I want to talk. I don't know, ma'am, whether I have a problem or I'm going nuts. I said, okay, let's talk. Such a fine gentleman, typical, he is a graduate from a Delhi University college and he has done his IIM Ahmedabad degree working with ITC. A 7-figure salary. Every Sunday goes to Taj Bengal to have breakfast and the son learns golf. The son is only 6.5 years old. This is his lifestyle. And he looks at me and he says, ma'am, I muster a lot of courage, and Monday morning I go to my office. I tell myself I have a good job and I should be grateful to God and I should do my job. Ma'am, by Wednesday, I am so fatigued, tired, I want to run away from this place. Ma'am, it's killing me. My one vice president has a bypass surgery. Another one eats 12 medicines a day. Third one already has an angioplasty. I look at them, they at age 42 look as if they are 55. He says, ma'am, I look at them in meeting and I think, mera yahi hone wala hai, bhag ja yahan se. Is he honest? Is he in the right career? He says, ma'am, वो हर मीटिंग में जब वो सेल्स फिगर दिया जाता है ना, मेरा बीपी बढ़ जाता है. Ma'am, I'm already having some sleeping pills. But ma'am, I think about it Thursday, Friday, that this weekend I'm going to talk to my wife. And I'm going to tell her I am changing. Ma'am, I have enough money. I can cater to them for the next 3 years. Ma'am, I want to take a job change. I said, okay, so what's stopping you? Now listen to what he says, and that's what is career for Indians. He says, ma'am, Saturday morning when I see my wife, I don't muster the courage to tell her कि मैं नौकरी छोड़ रहा हूँ. She will think इसी नौकरी की वजह से तो शादी करी थी तुमसे. So ma'am, I developed that fear कि ये मुझे छोड़ के चली गई तो मैं क्या करूँगा? He says, ma'am, of all the people I think of it, the moment I'm going to tell this, that I'm leaving this job, I think of my father. That face comes in, जिन्होंने हमेशा मुझे कहा, पढ़ने लिखने में निखट्टू है, पढ़ता नहीं है. क्योंकि मैंने तो BA किया था, इकोनॉमिक्स ऑनर्स किया था, एक ही अच्छा काम किया, MBA किया और इतनी अच्छी नौकरी थी, छोड़ दिया, पागल है. He says, ma'am, then I think of my father-in-law. He'll be furious at me. Children, career in reality is this. It's not only you. And he says, ma'am, on Sunday evening, I decide I'm being foolish. Monday, I again come back and ma'am, by Wednesday, again the same thing happens. I don't know what to do. Do you want to end up somewhere like that? That's why you need to start planning and don't become reticent and passive. Let's see, देखा जाएगा. कोई और नहीं देखेगा. आपको ही देखना है. And that is why many of you must be curious, ma'am, क्या हुआ? He did leave his job. Today he is a professor in a university and he is extremely happy. My job was to help him to gather the information, do a plan, talk to each of the people who matter to them, give them security, but let them know it's his life. He has a right to make a choice. Today he is very happy, earning, and now he feels, I wasted those 7 years. I never belonged there, ma'am. That is why, children, I have always told universities and colleges and schools, it is never too early to start helping our children to think about their life. It's not the next 3 to 5 years of course, it is next 45 years of the quality of life which you will lead. And that is why this is your advantage. And what is the advantage of Indian youth? This is your advantage. Are we the largest population in the world or not? And who's our competitor? Friendly neighborhood, right? The neighbor which we should have actually watched more closely, we didn't. Now just look at it. What is global paradigm? India and China both had a lot of population, both had a problem. Both were agricultural country, and if you look at the historical perspective, we both are the largest surviving ancient civilizations, Indus Valley and Chinese. Yes or no? Today put together, we are more than half the world. That is why sometimes when people tell me that you have to go to such and such country, no offense meant. उस कंट्री की एजुकेशन सिस्टम हम कैसे इंडिया में ला सकते हैं जिसकी पूरी पॉपुलेशन उतनी नहीं है जितना हमारे यहाँ दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पे एक दिन में आदमी रहता है. Yes or no? That's your advantage. We have grown up with diversity. We don't need diversity management and inclusion. We have grown up with it. Yes or no? When I did psychology and abnormal psychology, I just got the names. Every member in my family had one of those. So it was very easy. It came naturally to you. I belong to a very large joint family. And that is why, children, remember what China has done it. They turned the global economy. They said, I have cheapest human resource. So what Europe creates in $100, I'll create in 10. Have they done it in last 30 years or not? You buy in Oman, you buy in Amsterdam, you buy in Paris, you buy in Calcutta. Turn around, made in China. So they became the greatest manufacturers. Now what are they looking at? But they had a population control policy. Today what are they looking at? They have huge manufacturing units, but in another 10 years, they will not have people to work on it. That is why what are they looking at? They know the Indian youth is going to take over. And that is why, children, it is not any political agenda. It is a reality of global economy. You are the leaders. Provided you take care of yourself. Provided you don't lose out on this. Provided you understand that because you are the largest world market, everything will be sold to you. So colleges will be sold to you, courses will be sold to you, cars will be sold to you, drugs will be sold to you, pornography will be sold to you. Wake up, you'll have to make choices. Because you are the largest market of the world, start making your choices very carefully. And that is why the skills which people will look at will be emotional and social skills. Today, the Chinese economy is breaking down not economically, socially. One child today in China who is 29 to 30 years of age has a responsibility of his parents. Both his parents have their parents alive because everybody has been a single child. So whether you are a boy or a girl, you have your parents in the age group 60 and you have grandparents in the age group 80s. China has the largest number of people above 90 years of age, China and Japan. Yes or no? Any data which I am giving you wrong, question me. And many of them will also have a grandfather, great-grandfather alive in the bracket 91 or 96 or 92. This one boy has to take care of these in spite of social security. And imagine this guy marries, he gets 6 more. So one couple in China today socially, in the age group 30, has 10 to 12 people above 60 years of age, emotionally and socially dependent on them. Are we able to see this? And that is why, children, take this advantage. And tell me, what do you see on the screen now? Anyone? Tell me, what do you see on the screen now? You see a father teaching a child. Okay, what else? Any other version? Yes, yes, stand up. I can hear you. Anybody from the balcony? Yes, yes, yes. A father teaching a child. Okay, that's one version. Anything else you see on the screen? One of you will have to stand up and speak, then I'll hear. Can anybody see here a person who is an IT engineer? He is into artificial engineering and he creates apps. But besides being a CEO at the age 32, with a turnover of a company which was started when he was in IIT Bombay, 3 friends, 1 laptop, 10,000 capital. They started a company. That's how Oyo was born. That's how Ola was born. That's how this guy had started a company, and here you can see him helping autistic children. He contributes 2 days in a week. He is running an autism center where he is empowering and advocating for a better community. And why is he doing it? Because he strongly feels for it, children. His own sister was an autistic girl who never went to a school. And this boy says, when he writes about his company policies, I always knew my sister was so talented and she was far more intelligent than me. But there was no school for her. So he does community social responsibility. And that's how I get to meet such people, young, dynamic entrepreneurs who feel for community. That's the career you need. I know of people who are doing things, and can you see? This girl, she has a handicap of a hand. He actually is setting up a huge fund. He's doing crowdfunding, and he's using a lot of youth from IITs who are contributing to these causes. He is a social philanthropist. That's how he writes his own introduction. He doesn't write, I'm a CEO of a company. How many of you, with the education you are getting here, will have an ability to make a difference to people and communities? And that is why, good, I'm happy to see so many hands. And that's what career is. Krishnan sir, you'll have to do an enter. I think it's not reaching there. Just press enter for the next slide. Just press enter. It's not moving? Every educational institution, teacher, and every parent needs to create a community for teaching children skills for life. We are talking about machine learning, right? What have machines started doing? What is AI? A lot of things which the cognitive makeup of human mind could do, we are already putting into microprocessors and microchips. Have you seen the latest version of Alexa? Earlier, Alexa would follow instructions. Now, thanks to AI, what is this machine able to do now? The other day, thanks to my son, I have one of these versions installed, and we struggle with these things. We are not a tech-savvy generation. We are still struggling and learning. I entered the room, very nice. You tell Alexa, switch on the light, switch on the AC, switch on this lamp, switch off that. If you have to tell this to the maid, it would have taken 10 instructions. And some of us would have finally got up and done it ourselves. But today, everything happens and you feel, wow. I'm enjoying my book with a cup of tea at the end of the day. And I told Alexa, put the AC temperature at 20. After half an hour, my husband enters the room. The moment he enters, he looks at the AC and says, the room is so chilled. I've told you people so many times, AC should not be more than 24. I'll tell you the reason behind. He works with Indian Railways. AC coaches operate at 24 degrees. All my ACs at home work at 24. That is called conditioning, human behavior. I have been dealing with it for so many years, and I explained, I said, no, let it be. The room is very big. You're coming from outside, so you're feeling. It will be okay in 10 minutes. But he looked at it, and he said, Alexa, make it 24. Moved away. Before I could say anything else, what did I hear? Please decide what temperature you want. Now it can question you. And you know, it's not about question. Look at it. It has a cognitive human mind to listen to a conversation, make sense out of it, frame a language with the correct syntax and diction, and ask you. What was my husband's reaction? A typical engineer, bureaucrat, another nuisance you have at home. He can't talk to people. How will he talk to machine? That skill. So he went to the washroom. And I was looking at Alexa that, oh my God, I don't even realize it keeps listening to everything we are talking. And I did not answer to it, sir. What did I hear? Next, beep. I am putting temperature at 22. Now, this is the skill you better be careful about, children. It's not about calculating 20 and 24 and averaging it. It is ability to take a decision. आपको हमें 14 साल लगते हैं ये सिखाने में, raise your hand. नर्सरी में आप हाथ ऊपर रखते हो, 11th में कोई हाथ ऊपर ही नहीं उठाता. पता नहीं हम स्कूल में क्या सिखा रहे हैं. Yes or no? But today an Alexa has a decision-making ability, has an ability to take a response. And what did Alexa say? It says, I'm keeping the temperature to 22, and the best part is now, ma'am. And what was this? Have peace. Alexa can now know the emotional regulation by sound waves. And the day they are going to interpret human emotions, I don't know how many of us will have the skills to be operational at jobs. Because your challenge, children, is, will human weaknesses be more than human talent? Because if I take a robo, he never gets sick, उसकी माँ कभी बीमार नहीं पड़ती है, उसको कभी छुट्टी नहीं चाहिए, वो कभी लेट नहीं आता है, वो कभी ट्रैफिक में नहीं फंसता है. If I take a human being, I have to deal with all this. So is human an advantage in AI? That's your challenge. And you better grow up to it, children. Tomorrow when you are looking at your courses and careers, look at this. And that's what I'm going to put up a few slides for you to see. Next, sir. This is what we are talking about. And this is called competency. What is competency? Abilities, growth, advanced technology. And at the bottom, what matters is this. This is called competency. How competent you are will not depend on knowledge alone. Knowledge, abilities, skills. And what are skills? Your abilities with practice become skills. And that is why there are many nomenclatures for skills. I'm giving you one basic: hard skills and soft skills. The key tilt, whether you look at GE Capitals or whether you look at Infosys or whether you look at Flipkart, please go and visit these. What is their employability index? What are they looking at future professionals? That's the kind of thing you should do, children. You will find hard skills are measurable. So these are technical skills. Like I am an IT engineer, so I know coding. I am a lawyer, so I know my law. But if you don't have the skills to negotiate, to take a decision, to empathize with your client, and to have problem solving, will you be a good lawyer? That is why there are lawyers and lawyers and lawyers, but there are some who are exceptional. That's skill. Let's look at the soft skills. Enter, sir. Soft skills are harder to measure or learn from classes or books. ये किसी कोर्स की तरह आप learn नहीं कर सकते. This is what you have to keep working. Can you develop a soft skill one day before your interview? Can you mug it up? Can you have a key? Like for your CBSE exam, you can have solved papers. Soft skill has no solved papers. It is each one for yourself. And that is what is indicative. The two most important which people are measuring today is emotional intelligence and self-awareness. You know, the questions people will ask you is simple. I wish we had more time. I would have made all of you do. Write your name and write 5 words that describe you as a person. And the challenge is, if I say these 5 words, your friend, your teacher, or your principal should be able to say, this is Salony, or this is Karthik, or this is Shiva. Do you have those 5 words which can define you? Children, 5 is a magic number in self and spirituality. That is why your hands have 5 fingers. 5 is stabilizing. You will always have 5 roles, 5 senses, and 5 elements that make your body. So whenever you are trying and planning, always keep 5 as the number, because 5 makes a rest. You can collect and comprehend it. That is why I am giving you these 5 skills today. Next. These are the words you should search. These are called life skills, 21st century skills, soft skills, socio-emotional skills. This is the language which people are today using to do competency of students. Right from age 15 to 25. That's the 10 years when people are going to map you. So today when I work with TCS, they ask me, ma'am, we have these 10 middle level managers. All of them have degree, all of them have done very well in the company. They will only make one person vice president. What decides that? Knowledge? Knowledge everybody has. Performance? Everybody is a good performer. So what they will ask psychologists to do is, ma'am, do a skill mapping for them. That's what we do. किसकी skills क्या है? और ultimately manager बनने पे उसको क्या चाहिए? People skills. That is why today you will see a 98%er doesn't get selected and an 82% gets selected. Because knowledge is now base, skill is important. And that is where, let's look at out of these 10 core, like WHO has given us SDG goals, they have given us these life skills for millennium students. This is what they need to know to navigate life. You'll only be successful and be, because any one of you, tell me, have you trained yourself how to face a failure? Because that's a reality. Everybody will have to learn how to face a failure. And that is why, sir, next. This is your life. So your schools have given you this at a time where in human development, human beings don't keep developing like this all our lives. There is a growth spurt which is physical when you are a baby. Then there is a growth spurt which is adolescent, where you develop socially and emotionally. And this is the time you define yourself. If you look at anybody who has made it big in life, big not in terms of money, but making a big difference, their moment of inspiration would always be in this age, 14 to 25. And that's why I keep telling educators, this is not a period of troubled teens. It's a time of transformational teens. This is the time you transform yourself. And that is why, next sir. This is what you will find in WHO. They have coined these terms for you. Tomorrow when you will see a lot of psychometric assessments done, they will rate you on these skills. Self and social awareness. Are you alive to social challenges? If you are, you'll get selected. How many of you seen that a US college application wants you to write an essay about community? What have you done? Your marks are fine, but what have you done for your community? A lot of people come to me that, ma'am, can we work in some kind of a special education or with autism or with some kind of a community program to build up those skills and awareness. Self-management. You need an entire day for this, children. Self-management is time management, stress management. Tell me, can you manage time? I don't know who started time management. Can you manage time? Can you increase time? Can I say today is my birthday, God give me 4 more hours. Tomorrow deduct it. Time cannot be managed. You only manage yourself in the given time. And that is why start working on this, children. Managing your own self. And that is why time management is prioritizing. We all have the same 24 hours, the same amount of seconds in the same day, 7 December. I, you, your principal, and maybe the governance of Oman. Will we all do the same amount of work in the same day? That's self-management. Next slide, please. This is what more and more universities are doing with their youth. Decision making, risk management, creative skills, looking at things from a different eye, ability to create solutions rather than. Your first project will be things like, you come to your manager, ma'am, I have a problem. The manager will say, forget problems. We had problems before you. Now, after you, what's the difference? Do you have a proposal? Or do you only have a complaint? That's where you define yourself. Next, sir. Ability, this is what I was explaining, artificial intelligence. Specific applications of AI are going to do all that which is very menial and routine. So what will it lead to for future? If you want to be future ready, next sir. The future of AI is the productivity of artificial intelligence may boost our workplaces, which will benefit people by enabling them to do more work. But as the future of AI replaces tedious or dangerous tasks, the human workforce is liberated. And you will have to focus on tasks which are more equipped, requiring creativity and empathy. These are the two which are most difficult for AI to replicate. And maybe you have 5 to 10 years with you children. By that time, something more will come out. And that's your time for your careers. You all have digital devices. How are you using it? For education or for entertainment? For awareness or for distraction? Those are the choices to make. You all have this. These are the list of digital skills which students need to be. And some of these slides, if you want, I'll be happy to pass it over to your principals so that you can have a look at it and the journey starts. Please do your own research. Don't take it at a face value. Do your own research. Map it up with the career you have in mind and then make a list that these are the skills I need to develop if I need to be future ready. Building resilience and coping with trauma. Don't lose on these children. One of the person who inspires me for this is Nelson Mandela. A person who created change. And what is his famous quote? He said, "Don't judge me by the number of times I fall. Count how many times I have fallen, yet always got up." That's skill. And those are called emotional skills. Emotions are not our weakness, children. Emotions make us unique and to be able to handle. Because it all, classrooms are a very good training ground for this. When somebody teases you, somebody laughs at you, somebody mocks you, somebody is better than you, and sometimes you work very hard and it hurts that I didn't get selected. All this is training for life. So if you're going to only play to win all the times, children, you'll live with the fear of losing. But if you live to play well, sometimes I'll win, I'm happy. Sometimes somebody else wins, and if I can move up to the net, do a shake hand and say good and make a friend for life, I will never lose. That's the skill the world wants next generation of leaders to have. No game is won by a team of 11 Sachin Tendulkars, who has again become a world champ. The team which is better. You are not going to be in arenas where only individual players will matter. That is why these skills are going to be the deciding factor. Start working on these and map it up that, ma'am, I felt very bad. Did I go in my room, slam the door, stop talking to everybody, or did I? That's emotional intelligence, yes. I would rest my talk here, but I do hope that you have many questions. Because my talk is not about giving answers, children. If I can raise a question in each and every mind which is sitting over here, I think coming over here was worthwhile. So thank you so much. God bless you and may you find
Thank you, madam, for sharing your enriching words and wonderful experience with us. I am sure your inspiring words will definitely act as a morale for aspiring students to build up their career. May I now invite Mrs. Salony Priya to the stage. I kindly request our principal sir to please escort her. May I now call upon Mr. Vijay Saravanan Shankaran, President, School Management Committee, to present a memento and certificate to Mrs. Salony Priya as a token of our gratitude. Thank you, sir, for doing the honors.